PR has always been about telling stories and building trust. But for those of us in the creative industries, the world we're trying to tell those stories in is shifting faster than ever. Traditional media is shrinking, algorithms keep moving the damn goalposts, and AI is changing how our work gets discovered. On top of that, clients and audiences are demanding more impact, more meaning, more proof that the work we do actually cuts through. It's a lot of pressure. So how do we adapt? How do creatives and agencies get seen and heard in this new landscape? And what skills are going to matter most if we want to stay relevant? To get into all of this, I'm joined by the brilliant Claire Blyth, founder of Red Setter, the global PR agency that champions design and has helped some of the world's top creative studios build their reputations. Claire has been right in the thick of these changes, and she knows what works, what doesn't, and what's coming next. In this episode, we talk about what the actual decline of traditional means for design and creativity, why the rise of niche platforms and creators is a huge opportunity, super positive, and how AI is reshaping the way stories are told and discovered. And most importantly, we explore why, even in an AI-first world, I said that kind of term, human connection, trust, and relationships are still the secret sauce that will make your work stand out. If you're a creative, this one's for you, whether you're running your own studio, freelancing, or working in-house. There's loads here about how to cut through the noise, build your own reputation, and make sure your work gets the recognition it deserves. Claire, if you think back to when you first started in PR, what feels completely unrecognisable about the industry today?
God, that's a big question. It's got to be the overall shift with AI and how people are finding things, and so when I first started in PR, people really did sit down and read Design Week and Creative Review and newspapers and all the stuff like that. I don't know, to a certain extent, people do sit down and read things today, but it's the majority really isn't. I don't do that particularly. I try to over weekend and try to actually focus on it. But you sort of grab bits off your phone and grab bits when you're sat at my laptop, and that change in behaviour has changed everything, really.
It really has. I mean, I remember when I started out in journalism, it was, you always had all of the morning papers on the desk. You would obviously go through them to make sure you were covering everything. But then that habit shifted when I moved into PR, and you would have all the papers and try and find clippings of your
absolutely,
your media coverage. Did we get that travel deal in the Sun? And all this kind of thing. And now I haven't worked in a PR agency for a very long time. Do you still get those printed papers, or is that long gone?
We get a few. We still probably have subscriptions that arrive, probably about 5 or 10 a month or something like that. But the majority, we still sit down every Monday. We sit down as a company and go through anything that's happened in the news since Friday that our clients could comment on, that would sort of show their messaging. And every morning, every team looks through the news and sees what there is to comment on. But it's looking online. It's looking... it's doing Google searches and asking ChatGPT. And although I do find generative AI isn't that good at that at the moment, if I say, tell me some big brand stories that have happened in the past few days, brand business news, it tends to come up with stuff that was a year old. And I always think, oh my God, how did I miss that? And then realise it was a year ago.
Yeah, that's the problem with it, isn't it? That's the only thing I found about it that's frustrating. It's not picking up on the very current aspects. It's copying rather than leading, but it
Definitely
is changing everything. Like the shift is so fast that I can imagine that'll be something that comes in in the next 12 months.
It's got to be, hasn't it? Because it's got to get a lot better at that. I still think, and I still believe that the essential thing is that people still want to read really good information. I think generally that's produced by really interesting people.
Yeah.
I think there's got to be a human soul at the core of the whole thing. And it's like that thing that I think if I read a book and thought it was the best book in the world, and then someone told me that the author who'd written it was actually AI, it kind of takes away the point of the whole thing. And I just that feels like a waste of time. And I do think you can write through it, and I think you can design through it. And I think that obviously you can use it as a tool for things. But if you use it well, I think it will it will change things in the right way. It's like, I think the thing that you have to I think the thing that will change a lot, that's the point I was trying to get to. The thing that will change a lot is clickbait type stuff. So we don't kind of get involved in that, and you don't get involved in that. And I don't think the design industry gets involved in it particularly, but you do get some publications in the business side that do. Clickbait type stuff will be a lot harder to find because people aren't scrolling endlessly through socials and scrolling endlessly through. They're looking at ChatGPT to find out what's going on.
Yeah,
which means you don't get those click-throughs to that sort of clickbaity headlines as much. I think that's going to shift massively over the next year or two.
It's already happening. You can see, was it the New York Times that said that search traffic had dropped by 50%?
Was it 50%? Wow.
I think it was 50. You don't quote me on that. I'll have to sort of fact check after the conversation. But yeah, there was lots of reports of it earlier this year, just saying how it is massively impacting traditional media. Because we a lot of us aren't searching Google anymore for answers.
Absolutely. It's zero clicks marketing, where I could be looking for a new Mac, and instead of going through Amazon and John Lewis and looking all over the internet, looking at Google and looking at reviews, ChatGPT does it all for me, so I don't encounter any of the brands and go straight to the one I want on Apple's website.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been doing that as well. Like, I was in the market for an air fryer. I'm, as per usual, 3 years rebelliously behind. And
I still haven't got one.
Well, we still haven't. We still haven't. Hit the button. But we were just asking ChatGPT, what, if we had this much space, and this is what I love about it. If we've got this much space, and there's the two of us, and this is what we cook, what air fryer would you recommend? You can't ask Google that. Well, you can, the AI version now, which they've just recently launched in the last month or so. But it's incredible how...
Yeah, that's it. You get really specific. The holiday we've just been on in France, that's exactly what... I found this place in the south of France by putting in so many parameters, including comfortable beds, because I'm quite old now and stuff like that.
I love that. And it has to be fabulous. And it has to have wine.
Absolutely. It needs to have a pool, needs to be by, nice vineyards. But it came up with a thing that was like spot on and way cheaper than anything I could find.
Wow. That's incredible.
But it is that, so losing the clicks, I think the media will change from, which I think is a really good thing, because the whole clickbait thing tends to be total rubbish. So I think people will really focus on their audiences and getting a subscriber base in and, really connecting with people rather than offhand comments. Yeah,
I think it's completely shifting PR and marketing, isn't it? And how we get found by people. And what's quite interesting is I, as you know, have been changing how we do Creative Boom. It's kind of come full circle without going too much into it, but I think it might be a good example.
Oh, massively. The studio things that you're doing. I think
it's so good.
Really good.
They're so lovely. But we started Creative Boom in 2009 when Twitter was amazing and it was friendly, and we built up a community on there, and that's how we got going, really. That's how Creative Boom became a success and became known. But then, without going into the details of what's happened since then, it was like somebody said to me a while ago, where can I sign up to Creative Boom? Where can I become a member? And I was like, well, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, and obviously things were starting to change. The algorithms were dictating what could be seen in front of people. And that was another thing us PR and marketing and media platforms had to deal with. And I thought in February, well, I think it's about time we owned our own community and brought it onto our own private space where we're in control and we dictate what happens next. And so that's what we did. And I started to see that happening elsewhere as well. I felt like there was a shift, but it's all happened in the last 12 months, I would say. Yeah,
it's like this year. I mean, I love the fact that you actually thought it and then did it, and it's now successful. And how many people have you got on it?
I was eating granola. I was like, I wonder
the best ideas come that way.
Yeah. Honestly, the amount of people I talk to who are held back by the fear of something not working, just do it.
Massively. Definitely.
What's the worst thing that can happen? It doesn't work out. At least you tried.
Yeah, completely. No, you're completely right. And I completely agree with you, but I still have that sort of vague thing myself of thinking,
oh, yeah, because we're always on display, aren't we?
Yeah, you need to push through it.
Oh, we do. You have to get over the fear. So when clients come to you now, what are they most worried about that they weren't 5 years ago?
Let me have a think. What are they most worried about?
Putting you on the spot here.
I know, I like it. It's good. It's
because the thing is, we're all figuring it out as we go along. That none of us are experts in this. It's just been so fast that it almost feels like the days when social media came in. And
yes, no one knows.
Yeah, we were all just figuring it out. Do you remember when all these jobs came about, social media executive, and then some PR agencies pivoted and called themselves social media agencies, and it was really interesting times.
Yeah, completely. I think they are most worried about what's the point in speaking to the media in the first place? Does anyone ever really read anything anymore? How am I going to get in front of my clients? So, okay, when I first started Red Setter, my previous roles had been in working in brand design agencies as the head of new business, head of marketing, that kind of thing. And the main way I used to get new clients in would be by phoning someone up and saying, hey, we do this, I love the way you're doing that, arranging a meeting, and it just worked. Whereas now, I mean, I'm sure there's some people that can still do it well and stuff, but most of the time cold calling doesn't work. You've got to be so much more targeted and clever to reach the minds of your audience. That's like, how do you find the way through? Like the noise just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, doesn't it? So what's going to get people's attention? How do you find new clients?
Yeah. How do you do that? So from my point of view, let's use Creative Beam as a case study. From my point of view, what worked really well in the beginning on social media was me being the face of the brand and the community that was behind it. So everything that we did on the platform, which was a passion project at the time, it still is. It's just now makes money. It's now my full-time job.
Yeah, that's great.
Which I love. I love it with all my heart. But it worked really well. And then at some point along the line, and this is how much it's changed in 20 years, I thought, right, we need to, if we're going to take this seriously, if we're going to do our community proud, then we need to grow this up. We need to mature it. We need to do things by the book. We need to turn it into a serious publishing platform. Because at the time, do you remember, I used to go on press trips and the journalists would often do, the other journalists, I never did because I'm completely naive. I'm just like, I'll just rock up. It'll be great. But all the other journalists would find out who else was going. And there would always be one, often, not always the case, but often older woman or man who would just hate me from the off because they'd look me up and they'd seen that I was a blog and an influencer.
God, that's ridiculous.
And so I remember I went to this press trip in the Netherlands. I won't say which city just in case they're listening. But it was so funny when we did the introductions. She was scowling at me the whole time. We went around and then when it got to her time, she said, and I am a serious professional print journalist. And I said,
oh my God.
This lovely lad who I'm still in touch with actually leaned in and said, I really don't think she likes you. It was so obvious because I was the only one there who was just online. But
oh my God.
I can't remember what my point is, but it's just changed so much. So I felt, right, we need to grow up the magazine. We need to be taken seriously. What we're doing is great. We've got influence. Obviously, it was disrupting traditional media, newspapers. And I felt so sorry for a lot of my friends who I went to university with who were struggling and things just disappeared. Jobs went. Newsrooms shrunk. It was, the last 20 years for publishing has been crazy. And of course, the knock-on effect of that has definitely impacted PR. So I think my long-winded question or point is that it's come full circle again, because as you said, how do you cut through the noise? How do you differentiate yourself when there's so much slop online and we've got AI? I just suddenly had an epiphany. We need to go back to our roots. We need to have me as the face and our team. We need to have the human element and we need to bring the community back into the engine of everything we do, which is kind of what we've been doing all along anyway. But
surely that just will happen. The ones that are going to survive, surely that's what's going to happen, because you can't rely on that sort of clickbaity, superfluous stuff anymore.
No.
So you'll get proper subscription based. So that the New York Times, I was reading about it, in New York Magazine, that's why I was reading about this recently. And they were talking about the benefits of like just, you're going to have subscribers, and whether that's paid subscribers or not, if people aren't in your community, then they're not going to listen to you.
Yeah, it's a difficult one for me because Creative Boom was always free and it was always meant to be accessible and inclusive. So I don't sit very comfortably with the whole subscription model. I'm pushing for the kind of, sponsorship from brands. Yeah. And don't forget, I'm lean and mean and it's a small team and I'm independent. So I don't have people breathing down my neck and demanding profits.
Yeah.
So I'm lucky in that respect. I can do this passion project for a living, make a decent salary, pay people well, and it's a great place to be. But gosh, if you're a traditional magazine right now and you've been relying on clicks for those kind of, very kind of, we all do it. We all click on them, but they're gone. When was the last time you typed anything into Google?
Yeah, completely. Yeah. Typing things into Google and just clicking on random stuff, I just don't do anywhere near as much anymore, which again, I do think will improve the quality of things.
Is it a case of the cream rising to the top?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think you'll get really good quality stuff and people won't put all their money into getting ridiculous headlines. They'll actually do some decent stuff behind it. And there's still a lot of that around.
Yeah. God, yeah, there's a lot of great writing. I love what the New Yorker did. They made their kind of magazine a brand, didn't they? Something that was aspirational.
Yeah. Aspirational brand, definitely. Yeah, there's loads of interesting stuff. But I do think, it's changing faster now than I feel it's ever done before. But I think it's really exciting.
Yeah, I'm very positive and optimistic about it as well. I've always enjoyed the disruptive nature of our industry and what's next and how do we pivot and how can I make sure I'm, staying up to date with everything. Oh my goodness. And do you use ChatGPT and other tools to sort of help you do that? Because I find that it's become my little mentor, my coach, my business coach, my strategy.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think it'd be crazy not to use it. It's so useful. If you ask the right, really specific questions and you get into the right train of thought, it's really, really good. It all depends again how you use it, isn't it? If we used it to write things, so we can use it to say, well, I've got these thoughts on this thing that I'd like to do. Could you expand that? Could you give me a framework for this? I think that's really good use of AI. But if we actually used it to write things, most of the publications we go to have got AI filters. And if you're ever seen to have any sort of, if you just send AI stuff over, they'll reject it.
Yes.
You can't send things through to Forbes and Fastco and Creative Boom.
Yeah.
That are just written by ChatGPT because you can spot it and there's a style and it's not. It loses the whole thing. So
there are PR agencies doing that.
I'm sure there must be because it's so easy to do. Like you could increase the amount of clients like tenfold, couldn't you? And just bang stuff out. But it's not sustainable and they're not actually going to be around doing that in a year or two, are they? Because everyone can tell.
It's funny because we go back to the human element. What works when you go back to traditional PR, that's always worked throughout time, no matter what's happening outside of that realm, it's the human connection. I was always taught by my PR manager, make relationships, get to know people, find out what their kids are called, ask them how their holiday in France was,
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, completely. It makes a big difference, doesn't it? People want to form connections with people. They don't want AI written stuff everywhere. And if you knew a publication, even if it had some interesting stuff, was completely written by AI, you just wouldn't read it.
No, you wouldn't. And I think it was sort of going that way anyway. There was a lot of clickbait on the web and people were just sick of it. 5 hacks for this. And, we do a little bit of that on Creative Boom because, we need to get the traffic and we need to spark people's curiosity. But I would rather call them
5 hacks. And
I'd rather call them open loops where we spark curiosity and emotion.
Definitely.
And get people to think about, like 25 design agencies that you think are the best as voted by the community, which got a ton of traffic, as you can imagine.
Yeah,
and
of course.
Lots of people going, why aren't we on there?
Yeah, I've heard quite a lot of that myself.
Well, this is why we ask the community, so we can say, nothing to do with us.
It's not my fault. That's
This is who people...
completely.
Yeah.
But the AI thing, it does, just because I'm saying that it's going to stop a lot of the sort of sloppy journalism and sloppy PR agencies and stuff like that. It's still, I use it so much in my life. I still probably use it, the app I use most on my phone. God, it probably is that an email. Just to, I don't know, buy the right things and go to the right places. And even when we're on holiday, it's really sad. I was just like, oh my God, we've got, I don't know, half a day in Avignon. What's the best thing to do in 3 hours? And I'm like, all right, we should do that, that and that. And then we should go there for lunch. And it's really, really good.
Imagine it in sort of a couple of years' time when it's integrated into everything.
Yeah. Yeah, completely.
So it won't be like this separate thing. It'll just be integrated into your email. It'll be well, it's already happening now.
It's already happening, exactly. You've got the pilot and all that kind of stuff. But it's...
I sound so naive when I talk about AI, you know.
But I kind of... Surely most people do, because there isn't one person that... I listen to so many podcasts about people talking about it. And I don't think anyone can have... You've just got your opinion on it, really, haven't you?
Yes, you can listen to lots of highbrow stuff, and there's plenty of great content around if you really want to dive into what's happening and how things are changing. And you can see it from both sides. There's a lot of cynics, quite rightly, and
Massively.
There's lots of optimism about it too. I like to take the optimistic approach. I do wonder if there is a bubble that's about to burst, because this whole thing costs a lot of money and they're hemorrhaging cash.
Yeah.
They're not profitable yet. So I do wonder if there's going to be another .com bubble moment, but
it's a really
where's
good
the
point.
internet?
How can that be? Exactly, how can that be sustainable?
But look
and
at
then
the
there's
internet.
Also,
it's still here, isn't it?
Exactly.
So it'll be.
It's not gonna.
AI will still be around. I think it'll just be a different version.
Yeah, I completely agree. There's got to be something that can reduce the amount of power it takes and go from there.
This season of the Creative Boom podcast is proudly sponsored by James Cropper, the last mill standing in Britain for premium coloured paper. Its new colour source range puts designers first, giving you direct access to 50 stunning shades in a range of weights and textures straight from the mill. Incredible colour, crafted in the Lake District and delivered straight to your door. Discover the paper that brings your ideas to life via paperandpackaging.jamescropper.com.
Yeah, I was listening to Mo Gaudat. Have you ever heard about?
Yes.
I listened to one of his podcasts a couple of weeks ago about, he's really not very positive about it at all and thinks it's going to massively nosedive and huge numbers of people are going to lose their jobs, and then it's going to sort of go up from there.
Right. I think I listened to part of that.
It was Diary of the CEO one. He's done a few with Diary of the CEO.
Yes.
And this most recent one, I think he was head of Google X, wasn't he? And from a tech point of view, I can see how it's happening and I can see how that would happen.
Yeah.
From a design point of view, actually, I can see how you can't really just produce sort of low-end design anymore. You've got to work your way up the chain to be successful, I suppose, in design.
I think there was an article that he wrote as well, or there was an interview along a similar thread. And I think, was it him talking about how like all those kind of junior roles have currently gone? Because if you think about it from a PR agency point of view, if there are PR agencies writing those sort of, the press releases, which have to be adjusted and adapted for all the different regions of the UK or whatever. And does anyone do that anymore?
I don't think they do.
So they don't get the junior PR executives in. So what the hell are they going to do when they need like more, middle management?
That's it. It's not sustainable, is it?
No, it's not. It's a bubble.
You can make a lot of money out of it, I'm sure, now for the next year or two. But if you haven't got the juniors learning the craft, and it's not a sustainable business model.
Absolutely. So I think when people talk about jobs going, I think a lot will. But I think it'll also create lots of new opportunities. Yeah. Just like any technology that comes along, behaves in that way. But I just feel like this is probably the biggest shake-up.
Yeah, definitely.
So how do you see the decline of traditional media shaping the role of PR going forward? Are we now more like publishers ourselves? Is everybody a content creator?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think everyone is a content creator to a certain degree. But as always, I think it's always going to be a very similar situation, that some people just get more attention than others. You're always going to get influencers rising to the top, but people are always going to be top news sources at the top as well. Like, I'll always read the BBC and the New York Times, and I think I will, unless something massively shifts. But there'll always be like those ones that I just go to as a trusted source of information.
Now, this is interesting because the funny thing is I've started blogging again on my own personal website, katycowan.co.uk.
Have you?
I have.
Oh, I'll have to check that out. I didn't know that.
But, now this is going to make you laugh after you said that. Everything I write, I look back even just a month later and think, oh my God, I sound so naive. So much has changed since then. You feel like you have to put a caveat on every article and say, by the way, I will probably have changed my mind on all of this in a month's time.
Completely.
Because you're just constantly learning and things are shifting so fast that. So I wrote an article a while ago. I think it still stands. And I was talking about influencers. I wasn't being like that grumpy traditional journalist in the Netherlands.
You've become that older person.
Yeah, I was like, who do these people think they are? Why are they making money and I'm not? It's not fair.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit. But yeah, we... you know me, I'm not going to be anything but honest. But yeah, I wrote a blog post and I was saying, I think, the days of influencers is coming to an end, not because the influencers aren't great at what they do, they're brilliant, but because I think there is a fatigue setting in, that people are just so fed up with people going, oh, here is my amazing life and my amazing flat and my amazing clothes, and they were gifted by this brand. So it all feels really fake and it doesn't feel real. So I think Gen Z are bringing
influencers. I think genuine influencers will be the ones that, I don't know, people that have been paid God knows how many hundreds of thousands of pounds by a company to promote stuff or to do all that kind of stuff, I think will fade because people see through it. Mm-hmm. I think I did a wine tour at the weekend, a tour of Sussex vineyards, which was really, really fun. And there was a wine writer on it who was super lovely. And she was saying to me that, so she's probably about my age now, she's sort of like late 40s. And she's saying her and her friends are kind of looking at the generation below that are all coming through and are starting to get really good gigs writing for The Guardian, for the wine section of The Guardian, stuff like that. And it's no longer good enough. She's like, it's completely just derailed her way of thinking because it's no longer good enough for her just to be a really good wine writer. She's now got to have the social channel and she's got to have all the contacts and she's got to be a place that people go to for information. Wow. Whereas in the past, she just wrote really good articles. And she said it's turned into like, you've got to have a whole lifestyle to go with it.
It's incredible.
Yeah, she wasn't actually moaning about it. She was kind of saying it's really interesting, like, do I shift? Do I not shift? Is it just something new? Can we exist together? It's,
It's so interesting spending a couple of, not hours, but half an hour on TikTok and looking through the content and what people are sharing now.
Yeah.
I was sat in my hairdresser and there's a lovely girl in there. She's called Jessica. She's one of the junior staff. And when she's sort of washing my hair or making me a cup of tea, I always talk to her about TikTok and tell her what I'm doing with Creative Boom. And she says, yeah, that's good. That's nice content. Looks nice, but just be more natural. Just start recording and just don't even edit it and just start talking. And she's like, these graphics are really nice, but just make it scrappy. Just don't worry about all that.
A bit overdone almost of like, you need to be like, look, you've just jumped on the camera and got out of bed and done it.
Well, I'm in our generation where we grew up thinking, oh, everything has to be stylized and curated, and we've got to have there's obviously got to be a strategy behind everything, but we've got to do this, we've got to do that. So to get yourself out of that thinking and mindset, it takes a while. I mean, I look at some of the videos I tried to do last year, and they were just so clunky and awkward and staged.
Really. I love your style now. I think what you're doing is really, really good.
Well, it's because I don't give two monkeys, to be honest. I'm just.
That's the way you've got to be, isn't it?
I think
push
so.
Through it.
You've just got to be genuine. You've just got to be yourself. I think the realization that because there is so much content out there and so many people are doing this, you sit back and you go, if you sort of try and strategize your persona online, it's just not going to work. You're just going to sound like everybody else. So I thought, I'm just going to be me. I'm just going to warts and all the daftness, all the silliness, just going to have fun. And it's actually a joy to be now at this stage after what would you say, 15 years of this gradual climb to where we were. And now actually one of the things I'm thankful for with AI is that we get to have a bit more kind of punk again.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's true. I was talking to friends about that the weekend of she was worried it's going to be the downfall of all of us and it's going to be absolutely terrible. And I was just like, I can totally see the concerns. I get it. But there's also an argument that it could definitely it democratizes everyone. So everyone's got access to the same tools and everyone's got, not the same tools, but businesses can start quickly and get there more quickly. And it levels things up a little bit. Hopefully. We'll see.
Gives everyone a chance. It's like having a little brainstorming team in your pocket, isn't it? It's incredible. I used to get in touch with my old PR director and say to him, I've got this campaign I'm going to do for a client. I need some ideas. I can't think of anything. My brain's just like, because I'm doing all these different things at once. What do you think we should come up with? And he would give me ideas. Now I'm sending him the ideas for a laugh that AI spits out. And he's like, he's just signed up, actually. This is incredible. He's retired, but he's just signed up so he can play with it. He just thinks it's amazing. It's just changed.
With him.
So,
it has.
Niche platforms and creators, if they've replaced the authority that big media outlets once had, and maybe that's too bold a statement.
Yeah.
Is it a different kind of power, do you think? Do you think they have replaced it?
No, I don't think they have replaced it, but I think the big platforms will always be there, and the big authority, the news authorities and stuff, that will always be there. But they've definitely added in. But then, it's hard to argue. God, it's so big, isn't it? It's hard to argue. You go back to like classic examples like Brexit and stuff like that. If you look at how people were reached and communicated with through social, and this is before AI and anything like that, or kind of before the way it's used right now. What's my point? Hold on, I might have to go back to that.
It's because, you know what? It's because our brains have just been so, overwhelmed by all this shift. I mean, it's fascinating because we're not...
What's believable, isn't it? What's the truth? So whether people believe... hence the Brexit reference. I knew I'd get there in the end. But what's believable? What's the truth? How can you rely on things? How can you believe what's going on anymore? And some people, I still think there's a massive place for what's been there in the past. But I think surely there's got to be other things coming through. Like what you're trying to do with Creative Boom, what you are doing with Creative Boom, of becoming a really trusted source of information. Surely there's got to be other things like that. I always think there should be like a new national newspaper started up.
That would be great.
Yeah, that isn't run by all the big media moguls and stuff like that. That isn't sort of, I know they're not all like that, but just something completely new and refreshing that I'd like to read.
Yeah, it's something neutral and maybe just a bit more critical.
Totally.
It's tough though, isn't it? Because like journalism has gone through a hell of a lot.
Yeah, completely. But
and the advertisers are elsewhere. Google and Facebook took up all the kind of money, didn't it? And didn't they rather? And left lots of platforms thinking, good grief. And even now, like The Guardian still has its sort of campaign to get you to sign up and support great journalism.
Yeah, true.
And when did they start that? That was back in like 2010, maybe, was it? Or was it earlier than that?
Was it that long ago? Maybe it was. It's as long as I can remember with the Guardian app.
Well, this is how old I am. I graduated in 2000, and in our final year of university, bearing in mind we were the first course to use digital kind of tools for editing and recording and all the rest of it. Prior to that, you had to use tape, and you had to cut the tape and stick it back together again for broadcast journalism.
Oh my God, that seems crazy now, doesn't it?
It doesn't feel like a very long time ago. That's what's crazy about it. But the final year, you could either go into print, broadcast, or online. And there were about 10 people who went into online. And all of us print and broadcast journalists were just mocking them, because at that time we were just using Google to search for naked men. And doing
Was that
things
just
that
you, or is it
18-year-olds do. Me and a few girls sat in. I think I was one of the only ones who had internet in my bedroom. We were the first year to get internet access in our
didn't have
dorms.
internet. I graduated in 97 and I definitely didn't have internet in my, I don't think we had it. Must have had it in the house. I can't remember.
Must have done.
Yeah.
Dial-up when you had to go, and it would go.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, total dial-up stuff. I think we might have only had it
These
in university.
kids don't know they were
that's old.
We are old, but we look amazing, so it's okay.
That's the main thing.
Absolutely. What happened in Lancaster stays in Lancaster.
The Northern Design Festival tales can never come out.
They can never come out. If you're listening, Northern Design Festival crew, there will be a knock on the door if anything is ever revealed. Anyway. So if search and social are changing so fast with AI at the wheel, what impact do you think that's going to have on how stories get discovered in future? Is it about, like, if you had somebody come to you with a campaign, you would obviously still try to target some of those larger, established, credible media outlets?
Of course. Yeah, I think it's just about mixing it up, including, I think it's always got to start with the audience. So rather than, you can get so confused by looking at the media landscape and what's going on and who's doing what. If you look at the audience and look at who's going to be interested in what they're talking about in the first place, who are they trying to reach? How do these people get their information? Then that's where you go. I think that's always going to be the case, and that the where you go will change. But generally, I mean, still the business press and the main sources of the business press, getting our clients into that sort of like Forbes, Fastco, FT, all that kind of stuff is always going to be, as much as you can say that, for the foreseeable future, super important.
Because it gives me hope.
Yeah, it's putting design in a place that it's talking about it as a proper business tool, and it's hopefully changing people's opinions on maybe if anyone doesn't have the opinion that design can be a really effective business tool, get it in those places in front of business people and they can see that. It's pretty unarguable.
Absolutely. Did you see that LinkedIn the other day has changed the algorithm a little bit to favour instead real, deep and meaningful conversation?
Oh, has it? No, I missed this. That's interesting.
It was actually a press release that came through that somebody sent. They were like asking, do you want us to do a thought piece on this? And I was like, that's really interesting, because the things that I found that work really well on there for us are the kind of human-led stories.
Yeah.
And having more of a kind of face to things. And I think they're really leaning into that now because of all the AI slop, because when people have written their updates on there using ChatGPT.
You know what? Yes, I completely agree with you. And if we'd have recorded this last week, I would have said completely, you can just tell it's awful. And generally it is. However, Mike Reed posted something, Mike from Read Words?
Yes.
He's a brilliant copywriter. He posted something yesterday, the day before, talking about how he has been doing a trial of writing posts through AI, and he's taught his AI to write as him. And they've been his most successful posts ever. And people haven't realised it's not him. And he's got more engagement than ever before. And I was like, oh, shit, this completely now blows my mind into
So that's interesting, because that's a copywriter embracing a tool that might replace him.
Yeah, completely. I think you've got to, haven't you?
You have, yeah. That's encouraging.
If you just sit back and say this is all awful and stay away from it, I don't think you're going to be around for much longer. Not literally around for much longer, but maybe not doing the job.
I was looking at some of the old technology from our day, Claire, from our day. Like, it's incredible looking at the old computers and the little gadgets, the things that we used to save our university coursework on.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
My God. And think of all the jobs that kind of got disrupted when the computer came in, or when Facebook became popular. And I remember I was in a newsroom in Birmingham and there were 8 journalists, and then literally overnight there were, it was reduced down to 3, I think. And they got rid of there used to be like a whole room full of salespeople selling advertising, and it just disappeared overnight. It was
You can just automate the whole thing. Yeah, of course. I used to work in a company that had that, and massive sort of ad sales departments that you just don't hear of people working in anymore.
They were great fun. I used to go in there at lunchtime and just go around and be cheeky and talk to some of my favourite people. And they were good days. It was just, it was a shame what happened to radio. Everything got merged and reduced down, and then podcasting. So
well,
actually,
exactly.
something
Things
came
come
out of it.
Yeah, creativity always happens, doesn't it? It finds a way.
It really does. It really does. If you were talking to any of us, like anybody listening to this, in our case, it's creatives who, in a lot of cases, run their own businesses. What should they be focusing on with their own communications and like building their own reputation? Do they have to go on TikTok and, God, that's such a millennial thing to say, and dance?
What sort of platforms should they be focusing on? God, social platforms, I'd say the only thing currently that's really worth doing is LinkedIn and Instagram.
Yeah.
TikTok, we did a research project on this recently, actually, of agencies that are on it at the moment and who's using it. And like Jessica Walsh is using it really well. And there's a few people that are using it well. But I still don't think, unless it's your own personal passion, the amount of time you have to put in to do it well, I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the two social platforms. Again, the thing that's changing is, I was reading a survey. I was looking for some evidence behind this because I was talking to a client about it recently. A year ago, a survey came out saying that 47% of marketers find their agencies, their design agencies, through generative AI. That was a year ago, and I would be surprised if it wasn't like 85, 90% now that just find it through generative AI. But if you look at ChatGPT and look at the sources it comes up with, it doesn't search socials, so it's never going to cite LinkedIn or Instagram or anything like that. It cites media coverage. So it's always awards or lists or Creative Boom Top 25 or that kind of thing, articles out there in the press that get cited. So if you're really going to focus on something, getting into the press and getting outside of social, I think is going to be really, really important because that's what it uses to look through at the moment.
It's so incredible. Like, we have spent years, haven't we, getting our heads around SEO, the perfect triangle, the trust, authority, the content.
Exactly.
And it's amazing how that's been translated across to AI. So actually that work that we've put in hasn't gone to waste. It's still there.
Yeah.
I was just experimenting when I was thinking about, what do they call it? GEM, generative. Oh God, I've forgotten. It's what is it? I'm going to have to look this up.
Look it up.
I'm going to have to look this up. It's GEM, it's GEO. Sorry. God, my brain. I blame my generative engine optimization. So it's like SEO, but you're optimizing for AI.
Yes.
I apologize, listeners. I'm going through the change. Now and again, my brain goes dead. I'm using it as an excuse forever.
Yeah, exactly. It can be an excuse forever. I'm with you.
So I asked, when AI first came out, obviously my first reaction was, well, there were many kind of takes I had on it, but I was worried about my creative audience. I was like, oh my God, this is terrible. I need to support them. I need to be completely anti-AI. And then obviously as time went on, it transpired that actually, as with everything in life, there's a nuance. There's some of my audience are using these tools. Some absolutely despise it and want nothing to do with it. And a lot of those people who are against it may well find that they, end up having to learn
using bits of it.
Yeah, and I'm treading lightly. Because I'm like, please don't hate me. I have your best interests at heart. The thing is, can't remember what my point was now. Oh yes, and I asked my husband Tom, who's the developer. He's the sort of the silent partner that does all the kind of development work. I'm very lucky to have him. I feed him with chocolate and beer and occasional like tech. Tech gifts. Can you just do this?
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Can you just update this again? And I said to him, I think we need to block the AI robots from crawling our website. And he said, sure, I'll put it on the I'll put it on the job list. And then about a year later, after reading an article saying, you know, you've got to allow these things to crawl your website because if you want to be found with people searching on LLMs, then you need to be found. And I asked Tom, I said, did you ever block AI? And he went, oh no, I never got round to it. I was like, oh, thank fuck. Thank God.
Thank God for that.
But then, you know, all the complicated, it's not black and white, is it? I was like, but then all my audience's stuff's on there and oh God, I feel dirty. But yeah.
But that's the whole thing, isn't it? What you're doing, it's hard. You've got to be found.
Yeah, I want people to get the exposure, but at the same time,
yeah, so it's all the data
a bit of a mind fuck, but yeah.
It is a bit of a mind fuck.
Yeah, sorry for swearing. So yeah, it's trying to get across to people that actually, if we want to be found. The interesting thing with the studio, our private community, I ask them now, how did you find out about us? I would say about 40% find us through ChatGPT.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. And how many thousands of people have you got on it now? It was loads last time.
It's coming up to, by the time this comes out, it'll probably be over 6,000.
Wow, really?
Yeah, since
that's
February.
Really cool.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, really good community.
And all coming here for the same reason. They're just absolutely fed up with social media, really tired of it, and they want that genuine connection again.
Yeah.
So having a private space, I guess, makes it feel like it's a safe space.
Yeah. Safe space rather than the bravado you can get with things like LinkedIn and stuff like that.
Absolutely. And the interesting thing is we have got brands sniffing around and saying, well, this is an interesting thing, because they're obviously trying to find new opportunities to reach people and stay in people's minds. And they're like, well, can we do something in the studio? And I'm like, yeah, sure, absolutely. But it has to be on our terms, as always, and it has to be something that's relevant to the community. And I've been very open with everybody on there. You know, this is the way I've always been. I say, look, I can either charge you, because this thing costs a lot of money to keep going, or we can just occasionally get some sponsors in and do some branded stuff.
With that.
Well,
if someone's really trying to, if you're trying to hammer home, sell someone something that's not relevant to them, but if it's something that's really relevant to the audience that they'll benefit from, like, why not?
Yeah.
It keeps it free for everyone. People learn stuff. But
they're shaping the future of it. So this is what I mean. I think PR and marketing, the way it's moving forward, it's actually, even though there's, it's not so black and white, there's a lot of things that need to sort of be ironed out with AI and the way search and social is changing too. But actually, I can see this really optimistic future mapped out. It's bringing us all back together again, don't you think?
I love that. I absolutely love that. That's what I meant by talking about the subscription models, not necessarily charging in that way, but the New York Times, if it doesn't really hunker down and think, who's my audience and what do they want, and then come up with brilliant content and brilliant journalism, it won't be around. So I think it's really reconnecting people and getting rid of a lot of the rubbish that's out there. There'll always be loads of rubbish out there. There's always stuff you can focus in on, but I think it might make things better.
Thanks again to James Cropper for sponsoring this season of the Creative Boom podcast. Remember, its colour source range gives designers direct access to 50 beautiful shades and a choice of textures, all crafted in the Lake District and delivered straight to your door. Explore the collection and bring your next project to life at paperandpackaging.jamescropper.com. What's a medium or discipline you secretly wish you were good at?
Design. I think one of the reasons, there are many reasons that I set up Red Setter. And the main reason is the voice of design being lost and people not quite seeing the value. Lots of people don't even know it's a thing. And all that kind of stuff, like graphic design, people don't see as important in life, and it's super important.
Yeah.
But if I could, I think the reason that I did it in the first place was also because I really wish I was an amazing designer. So I thought this is kind of like getting through the sort of back door of getting into an industry that I absolutely love and want to tell the stories of. But I'd love, if I could have separate trail of sliding doors style life, I'd love to be an amazing designer.
Yeah, I know what you mean. People always say, why did you start Creative Boom? You're not an artist or a designer. I said, well, difference does that make?
Yeah.
I love art and design, and
Exactly. I could be one day.
yeah, I could start a gallery or, something.
Oh, you know what? I was speaking to Christoph, I can't remember his surname, he's a lovely guy, and he's the Vice Chancellor of the Royal College of Art. I'm going to do a podcast with him coming up in the next series. He's super lovely. And he was saying to me that they've got a 6-month diploma, so you don't have to do a degree at the Royal College of Art, 6-month diploma, and they have just had an 84-year-old woman sign up for it. And she's doing jewellery making, and he said she's amazing. It's the oldest student they've ever had, but they're really encouraging that. And I was like, oh my God, so that means even though I don't become an amazing designer, maybe at some point could be the RCA.
It's never too late. This is what I told myself. There was actually a voice in my head before I started putting myself out there, Claire. I thought, you're too old for this, Katie. What are you thinking? Yeah. You're too old. You need to just disappear now.
I mean, obviously I'm saying yes. I'm not saying yes, you are too.
Yes, get back in your box.
Good point. What the hell? No.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Completely. Just get rid of that. Do it anyway. There isn't a point in your life where you have to start winding it all down. That's insane. No.
Well, interesting. I don't know if you get this, but I had quite a few private messages from other women a similar age to us. And they were like, oh, it's so brave. So brave. I love what you're doing. I love it. Keep doing it. And I'm like, why does it need to be brave? It doesn't need to be brave.
Yeah, it's true. Just get out there and do it and put yourself out there. And I say go out there and do it and put yourself out there.
You don't have to.
You don't have to. And if it would have been, 5-6 years ago, where are we now? 2025. I had hypnotism in 2019 for fear of public speaking that was really, really bad. Like, I just couldn't do it. And every time I got in front of an audience, I could just about do it in red setter when there's 20 or so of us. But if I got in front of an audience of people I didn't know, no matter how big it was, I just couldn't do it. So I couldn't have done the podcast. I couldn't have done this. I couldn't have done any of that because I'd just be so worried. It was like a phobic reaction. Like, it would just overcome me as soon as I started talking. And I had hypnotism in 2019, just pre-lockdown. And it just changed everything. It's just got rid of all that giving a shit bit, not all of it, 80% of it from my head.
That's incredible. I might do that as well.
You don't need it.
Well, to be honest, I think my equivalent was my back injury last year. I think spending a year on the floor and having pain and not being able to sleep, that doesn't half give you a jolt up the backside.
Oh my God, yeah. Definitely. Yeah. I don't know how you went through that and managed to still do Creative Boom and still, most people don't know.
I don't know how I did it either, but I'm proud of myself because I think that's the thing. When you go through a tough time, you really do know, you find out what you're made of. My goodness.
Totally.
Just a stubborn bugger that won't give up. When did you last feel completely out of your depth and what happened next?
Oh God, I think that would probably go back to the public speaking thing again.
Oh,
that was definitely.
But you're so good at it.
Oh God, I don't think I'm so good at it, but I think I'm getting better and I feel happier doing it. And it now doesn't totally freak me out. Like, I love doing live podcast recordings and I love talking in front of an audience. And as long as I know what I'm talking about and I feel like a level of confidence that I just didn't have before. But I did a course in public speaking in 2019, which is what tipped me over the edge. And the guy that was running it said to me afterwards, I don't think you've got a problem with public speaking. I think you've got a problem with liking yourself. You need to go on a course of how to like yourself. And it really upset me. Like, I was in tears for ages after it. Yeah, I was just like, I think I do like myself. I don't understand. Maybe I'm denying it. I think I do like myself. But I just get a phobic reaction whenever I start speaking. I can't speak properly.
But the thing is, people like assume that you have to be a certain way. I think you've got a gentle, soft way about you that's very appealing, very endearing, and very engaging. And when I saw you at D&AD Festival, I don't know if you spotted me in the crowd, but I was like literally in the crowd going like a little fangirl.
I didn't spot you in the crowd. I saw you afterwards, but
I did. I was like, oh my God. Okay. As soon as I saw you, I was like, oh yes. And found my little seat, put my little headphones on. Because I just think you're amazing. Yeah, I would neuld have guessed. I would never have guessed.
But yeah, I really enjoy it now. And it used to be the thing that I felt so out of my depth in and used to absolutely terrify me. But at that point, I kind of realised how you can rewire your brain. I just used to think that if you thought a certain way or you were afflicted by some sort of fear or something like that, you just had to either try and get over it, or I didn't realise there was a way you could actually just rewire your brain and think of things differently. And now I kind of think if I don't like doing something or I don't want to do something, I've kind of got a thing at the moment about just trying to introduce some stillness into my life and try to just sit there and read for an hour or two and sit there and just be really focused and calm. And I think if I keep practicing that, then I'll be able to do that as well. I feel like you can just rewire the way you think.
You absolutely can. I also had somebody who gave me some great advice. They said, whenever you're about to do a podcast or a talk or something that you might be a little bit anxious about, a bit nervous about, which is normal, it's human.
Yeah.
You just remember you're not there. People are not there to watch or listen to you because of you. You're there to serve them and give them something of value. And I thought that was so lovely because it just completely reframed things. And I thought, well, okay, so I'm not just dancing about on a stage. Actually, I'm here to do something of value.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was lovely. I think we always have voices either in our head that come from a place we cannot decipher. It might be something from childhood. It might be from a bully.
Yeah.
There are voices, more recent voices. I remember I was, I went and interviewed an artist, and he said to me, he said to me something like, "Yeah, you're all right, but you lack." What did he say? You have very low self-esteem. And it really hit me. It really hurt me and affected me for a while, actually. And I'm annoyed with myself that it did. But then I got talking to other women in the industry, and he's done it to about 4 or 5 other people.
Wow, that's interesting.
So when you
so
when you reframe and you realize actually what people say to you that might be hurtful is probably more about them than you.
Totally.
Then that completely destroys the power that sentence has ever had on you.
That's really good advice.
Where does he live? I'm going to go and have a word.
We'll go around and have a word. That it's not true. I think it's really easy to say things like that, and then you can believe it and get sort of sucked into the whole thing. But as soon as I had hypnotism, that actually showed me it was from an experience I had at junior school with a teacher losing the temper at me and going nuts about the fact that I couldn't remember some words in an assembly. And it all kind of went back to me as an 8-year-old or something. And now I've kind of reprocessed that in my head. It's all fine. And generally I do that myself. It's all right.
You're amazing. I would have said to that teacher, gosh, that's a very unprofessional thing to say. Have you ever thought about maybe retraining as a teacher? See, this is what I think now. I think of all the things that people have said to me where I wish I could have said something at the time.
Yeah, if you had a more mature head on you and go back and reframe it, definitely.
But Claire, how powerful is it? Because I'm literally rubbing my hands now in glee. And I'm thinking, bring it on, bitches. Bring it on. Because whatever you say to me, it's not going to have any power over me, and I will speak up.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like voguing. Honestly, we've had enough shit for so many years. I'm not dealing with it anymore. If anyone says anything shitty like that to me or you, again, I will speak up.
Yeah, me too.
And it won't take 3 pints of Stella to get there.
Maybe.
What is a small ritual or habit that makes your day better?
Oh, I was thinking about this and was thinking I'm going to sound like a right dick for saying this, but I'm just going to say it anyway because I don't really care. It's meditation.
That doesn't make you a dick.
But sort of meditation and micro meditation. I know it doesn't make you a dick, but it's just I think it's...
Oh, I do meditation.
I live in Brighton and everyone is just loads of my mates and me as well. I was I do yoga, I do meditation.
I'm a yummy mummy.
Yeah, exactly. I don't really feel like that person, but I started doing meditation a few years ago and it's just changed everything. Generally, I've just got all sorts of shit going off in my head all the time. And although I started trying to do it 20 minutes 2 times a day, which has never happened. I think I've done it 20 minutes once a day, quite a few times. But now what I do car meditation. So I drop my daughter off at school.
Oh.
And then I've got a half an hour period where I need to get to work and it only takes 15 minutes. So I'll generally pull over at the side of the road. So if anyone sees me in Brighton looking like I'm asleep in a car with my sunglasses on, so hopefully no one will look.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And just do 15 minutes of just breathing and meditation, and it just makes such a difference. But even micro meditation, if I can feel there's too much going on in my head, just going to one of the Zoom pods in the office or going to a room on my own and just having 2 minutes of just focus on my breath just sorts my head out. So good.
Nice. We forget to breathe, don't we? And it's just so good for you to have a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And
yeah, massively changes the way you feel.
It really does. And then you realise how stressed you are. It's like, oh God, I'm carrying so much tension up here.
Totally.
I mean, all I'm doing is running an art and design platform. What's going on?
Have you read James Nestor's book, Breath?
I've got it on my shelf. I haven't got round to it. Come on,
so
you know
good.
me. You know me.
Don't worry, I've got a pile like that next to my bed. But
yeah,
I listened to this as an audiobook because I thought I'm never going to get around to actually reading it. But it's amazing. And it's kind of one of those things, we're talking to a friend about it and he was saying, why are you learning how to breathe? That's ridiculous. Like, surely there's... But this won Royal Academy Science Book of the Year. So it's not like some ridiculous theory that one person's got. It's really... really important stuff.
I think Tom's read it. I think he did. I think he was really moved by it as well and went through a phase where he was doing meditation. He's forgotten it now.
I do that all the time. Just go up and down with the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm actually making a list. I use an app called Things on the Mac, and I'm going to start putting my daily tasks in because it'll be the only way that I do them because I'm very much a task person. So the first thing is to do my 10-minute routine, which keeps my back happy. My second one is to go for my half an hour morning walk. My third one in the evening. Doing that. Yeah, do it.
Do you do it without a phone? That's what I wanted. That's what I keep the idea of stillness. Go for a walk without a phone. It terrifies me slightly.
Would I be able to do that? Because normally I listen to a podcast.
So this is what I'm trying to get to with the idea of sort of stillness in my mind.
Right.
Of just going for a walk with my sort of high-tech digital Casio watch. So I know at least what time it is.
At least you know what steps you're doing.
yeah, completely. And then I'm not taking a phone. But
I love that.
It doesn't happen that often. But
and listen to the birds. We should. Yeah. And listen to the sea in your case.
Exactly.
I meditate by ironing. I'm a sad ironer.
I wish I could get some pleasure through that. I hate it, but I've got a few friends who'd swear by it.
I go into a flow state and I don't think about anything. I'm just ironing. And it's lovely.
If you fancy a weekend in Brighton, I can do a whole retreat based on that in my house.
100% I'm there. I'm particularly good with shirts.
Perfect.
Now, I really love this question because I'm so, I can be transported back, like I told you with In Pursuit of Repetitive Beats, that being in the car, being the music. What's a scent or smell that instantly takes you back to a memory?
You know what? The only thing that came to mind, and the overwhelming thing that came to mind that really makes me laugh is early teenage Body Shop White Musk and Dewberry perfume.
Oh my God.
That, I just had an overwhelming feeling of that, and going out for the first time and discovering nights out and discovering going clubbing and stuff like that. Really smelling quite heavily of Body Shop White Musk.
Now, a lot of people, I think I had that as well. What was the red rectangular one? Was it Charlie Red?
Oh, yeah, okay. I had Lulu as well, which was like overpoweringly sickening. Smell it now and it really makes me want to throw up.
And CK1, we went through
CK1, I still like CK1.
It is a real, that was when we were growing up a bit. We were starting to get a bit posher with our scents.
Yeah, a bit posher, less sickening on the scents.
Do you feel like you're really out of touch with perfume? Because I'm in the market. I've had a Tom Ford Velvet Orchid scent for about 2 years because I barely use it.
Tom Ford's pretty classic.
It was a Christmas present, but I've run out. I need a new one.
I discovered it's quite expensive perfume and feels like a bit of an indulgence, but I really like it. Le Labo.
Oh yes, everyone's talking about that.
Yeah, the Le Labo perfumes are just amazing. They're green matcha tea, green tea 23 or something like that is my favourite perfume now. Nice. It lasts for ages and it is a bit of an indulgence, but I do love it.
Should we try and get some free stuff? Right, go. You do the advert. This podcast is sponsored by.
Definitely.
I don't care. I'm a whore.
It's valuable for the audience. Everyone needs a Le Labo perfume.
Send me all the free stuff. Travel me around the world. I'll do it. I'm not one of these ones that denies that I like the perks of being a journalist. Yeah, wish those days still existed. Yeah, I think scent is a powerful thing. It's I get this weird thing when I hear a drone of an overhead plane go over. My nose goes fuzzy and my heart like swells and my stomach does a flip. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird?
Oh my God, definitely. It's
when it's coming down.
I think it's such a powerful, but just from the smell of the plane.
Not the smell. It's not a scent. It's a sound.
Yeah. Okay. So the sense of it being there,
and then but it makes my nose go fuzzy, and I just have this like overwhelming feeling of safety and homeliness. It's really weird.
Oh wow! Were you around that kind of thing when you were little?
I think so. Well, we lived south, like about 35, 40 miles south of Manchester Airport, so you would hear the planes coming in. They would drone it, like that kind of like change in shift of altitude where it sort of drones and it goes overhead. I think that's what I found really unnerving about the pandemic, when everything just went quiet. I was like, oh, I don't like this. I need planes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I just thought the most ridiculous example of smells and the evocative sort of side of things is, this is going to make me sound like a bit of a nutcase, but so we used to go on holiday to Spain and Mallorca a lot when I was little, when I was probably like 6 to 14 or something with my mum and dad, and used to really love it. And you go to Spain and Mallorca and Magaluf and places like that, and it just can smell a bit of like sewerage and stuff like that, a bit on the pooey side of things.
It can, yeah.
Sometimes now, in the summer, we'll be walking through Brighton or London or something like that. And someone's like, oh, what is that smell? And I'm like, oh, God, it reminds me of holidays. I really You see, what the hell? It smells of open sewage. And I'm like, I know, but I don't know. It just makes me happy in some way. I'm not going to adopt it as a new Le Labo scent, but...
No, the smell of Mallorca. Oh, I'm getting notes of last night's dinner.
Absolutely.
Oh, I always like, when I think of summer, I think I get that, is it Tropicana sun cream?
The Tropicana sun cream, absolutely. A sort of coconut base kind of,
takes me back.
Definitely.
Being a kid again and your mum shouting you over and saying, before you go in the pool, come here. And then they slather you in the stuff.
I do that with my kids now, so I think that's fair enough.
Oh, I'm very grateful that I had a lovely parents. Well, they're still around. My mum was always a sun worshipper, so she always had sun cream.
Oh, so am I. My dad used to wear like carrot oil.
Oh, God.
And just constantly, yeah.
That brown stuff.
The brown stuff. Oh. No SPF in it whatsoever. Yeah, I stare out the sun all the time now. I just sit in the shade.
I prefer it. I like being warm but cool.
Yeah, me too.
And just reading my book in the shade, isn't a nice little glass of something cold. Perfect. This season of the Creative Bean podcast is sponsored by James Cropper, and its new colour source range is a game changer for designers. It gives you direct access to 50 carefully created shades with a choice of weights and textures straight from their Lake District mill. Beautiful, sustainable coloured paper made in Britain by experts who live and breathe colour. Right, next question. I don't know why I said that in a German accent. Dear me, grew up with a low. Right, what is...
Hair flick, go on.
Oh, God. What is something you would love to believe in? No, I'm not. I'm alienating a lot of my audience here. We have some lovely German listeners. So I do apologise.
It's just a lower and the take on it, isn't it? It's ridiculous.
I know. Apparently, it's really popular in France.
Is it?
Apparently, yeah.
Still?
I don't know. But that was the last I heard. I found that quite surprising. Anyway, what's something you'd love to believe in, even if it's not real?
Oh, God, I think that's more of a deeper one, that it's hard not to want to believe in life after death.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it's like the scientist side of me, sort of scientist side of me. I studied biology at university and haven't thought about it since, but I'd like to consider myself to have scientific roots.
Yeah, biology, wow.
So it's, I used to really like it. And then I think doing a degree in it kind of put me off and realised it wasn't very me. But that's what I love about design, that kind of mixture of science and art.
Yes.
The sort of through kind of, the graphic design side of things and branding, how it sort of breaks through it. But things like life after death makes no real sense and doesn't have that kind of scientific backing, but maybe it will one day, and I'd love to be able to believe it because it'd be bloody brilliant.
Well, what do you think heaven's going to be like then if you end up there? I mean, let's be honest, you've got, maybe a 26% chance of making it to heaven.
I'm not so sure about that. Jesus.
Oh,
I'd like to think of it as not in a heaven and hell style way, because that would freak me out too much.
Everybody gets a chance to try again.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe if you were bad, you get sent back down as a snail and then you have to work your way back up again.
Yeah, you could be a butterfly, you could sort of reappear on Earth, you could be a ghost and just do people's head in with stuff. No idea. But I like the idea that your consciousness lives on. But whether it's real, surely not.
I love ghost stories. I don't know if I believe in it. I'd love to think there was life after death. I'd like to think I'm like you. I'm going to keep an open mind.
Yeah, that's it. It makes no possible sense until I listen to loads of stories that people have where I'm like, oh my God, shit, maybe that is something. Maybe it is true.
Tom said he once had an out-of-body experience where he floated to the corner of the room and looked down and looked on his body. And I was like, where was this? He was like, oh, it was at a house party back in the day. I was like, right, okay.
That doesn't count. We've all had that.
Yeah, maybe. Yes. Next question. Good grief. Let's move on. Actually, going back to your fond memories of your first night out, I need to tell our listeners, because this is so cool about you. For your 40th birthday, you got a DJ in, didn't you?
Oh my God. Graham Park came down to Brighton and DJ'd it was so cool. Graham Park actually said yes and came down and DJ'd at my 40th, which was mind-blowing. So I used to sneak out age 16 to the Hacienda and go and see Graham Park, and just didn't think there was a cat in hell's chance that he'd actually do it. And my friend Nick, his kids went to the same school as his son. And he was like, just give him a call. So I looked on his website and got in touch, and then he called one day. I was like properly starstruck, just going, don't know if I can actually speak to him. Oh my God. And he's lovely. Really, really. Him and his wife came down to Brighton for the weekend, and they're both super lovely.
That is awesome.
It was a very good party.
Let's make it happen again. Let's bring Carl Cox in as well. And,
I think Carl Cox definitely. Carl Cox isn't doing anything. It's something about university in Ibiza, but surely you'd do my 50th.
Absolutely. Yeah. 100%. I mean,
he'd be fine.
He would love it. He really would. I mean, he is somebody who really enjoys what he does. I love watching him DJ
Oh my God,
on YouTube.
he's amazing.
He's so good.
He is. He's so happy, and so, yeah, I really like him. A friend of mine, Mark Vesey, does photography and does photographs, collections of stuff, and he does collections of records and things like that. And he recently did one. He went over to Melbourne to see Carl and went to his place and his massive music room and did a collection of his favourite music and photographed it all. It's so good.
Oh my God, I'm so jealous. He is my absolute favourite DJ, even better than Jeff Mills, even better than
Jeff Mills, yeah.
Proper tribal techno back in the day. Oh yes, brilliant.
Definitely. I love that you mentioned Dave Beer on
yes,
Back to Basics, so good. But so many. Yeah, I need to sort something out for my next big birthday.
Have you seen my Silly Leeds vlog yet on YouTube?
No.
So you get to see me interview Dave Beer.
No way! Oh my God!
I was really starstruck, and I panicked and I said, "How old are you now, Dave?" And he went 65. And I went, "Bloody hell, you old bastard!" But I was just trying to make him relax and get him into the. But it just,
it worked.
But the thing is, he laughed and he said, "Thanks for the compliment." I went, "You're all right. You're looking all right, love." But that's what I do. I kind of, you and I had all of these experiences, and I think it's made us really good talking with people. Maybe not always. I wonder if Dave was really offended. Hope not. But the banter that you learn and the kind of...
Yeah, definitely.
Let's not take this too seriously. Let's not take ourselves too seriously. You get a vibe for people. Yeah. And obviously there was a bit of a chat in the run-up to that. But yeah, you need to watch it because I want your feedback. Because you get to see me do the In Pursuit of Repetitive Beats experience. it's just,
I need to have a look at it. Right. I'm going to look at this after we've spoken.
I'm gonna be doing more vlogs. So if you've got any experiences or things that I can go to that would fit the style of what I'm doing, what I want to do is I want to go to cities and have a local creative show me around and then go and do something. So
that's a good idea.
Yeah,
I like that. All right, let me have a think.
All right. Superstition wise, what is something you secretly or not so secretly follow?
Oh, magpies, the whole...
Oh, one for sorrow.
Yeah, one for sorrow, two for joy. So it'd always be in my head. It does my head in. I've now even, I'll be in a serious meeting with someone and see one outside and sort of like go like that to salute a magpie, like really surreptitiously so they won't notice. But I feel like I have to.
Yes. Do you look and try and find a second one?
Yeah, always try and find a second one.
Yeah.
Very rarely find a second one.
Bastards.
I know, it's not on.
Those birds.
And I wouldn't mind it. I've not even had an experience where it does actually indicate the rest of my day, but I just, for some unknown reason, it stuck with me as... I wouldn't encourage walking under a ladder.
Oh my God, no, never.
Definitely
or
not. I'd always avoid that. Oh, I can never remember if a black cat's lucky or not lucky. Is it not lucky?
Is it, if it runs in front of you, it's unlucky? I don't know.
I think it might be different here than in the States as well.
Is it?
Is totally. I think it might be unlucky here and lucky in the States, or the other way around.
I'll say it's lucky from now on because they're always running in front of me, those little bastards.
Well, there you go. It's obviously lucky. Look at you.
I don't know. The decade I've had so far, blimey. You've
come through it.
I've come through it. I've come out.
You're doing good stuff.
This is what we're talking about the whole time, wasn't it? Look at what's come out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Positive.
Totally. Yeah, completely. No, I'd feel the same.
I now have lots of self-esteem. Thank you very much. Dream dinner guest, dead or alive?
Dead or alive. I prefer them alive, but...
You don't want them lifting their head.
Yeah. That's
Can you just pass the salt? Oh, yeah, sorry. Are you in heaven?
I'm not into dodgy smells that much, but...
the dead.
I was thinking about this. I was thinking, God, I feel like there should be a bigger part. If I felt I could have influence stuff, like you'd have a dinner party with all world leaders like Trump and Putin and Keir Starmer and all sort of people and try and sort things out, because obviously I'm well capable of doing that. Try and sort things out and try and not see why they're behaving the way they are and try and stop it all. But in actual reality, I don't think that I'd have any influence in that at all. And I think it would just be a thoroughly miserable night. So I'm going to say Madonna.
Yes.
Because I love her and she's awesome.
She'd be really fascinating.
She'd be really fascinating. The stories she'd have about everything she's done in her life. I think she's super inspiring.
Yeah, tell us all about everyone. Give us all the gossip.
Exactly. Who have you met? What have you done? She's so cool. She's still totally knocking it out at what I think she's producing amazing stuff still, and I think she gets knocked so much, but she's like super awesome. She is.
She's been herself. She's been ahead of the curve. She's spotted trends more than any musician I know. She is the queen of pop. Yeah. She always will be.
Absolutely. Yeah, spotted trends just as they're happening in like the underground clubs and then brings it out into the pop. And she's so good.
And reinvents herself and doesn't give a fuck what people think of her.
Exactly. That's the whole thing, that she just plows through it all and brilliant.
And now she's getting grief for, tweakments and dressing the way she does. I mean,
she's got grief for everything her entire life. She's always got grief for everything that she's ever done. So I'm sure she's used to it, and that's what makes her happy. Screw it, she can do what she wants. She's Madonna.
She can do whatever she wants. She's fabulous. She's fabulous.
She is fabulous.
Now we're going to end. Well, we're not quite finished because we've got a question from our previous guest, which was Brian Collins. What a character!
Yes, absolutely. I love Brian.
He's so funny. Yeah. He's such a character.
Definitely.
What emoji do you overuse, Claire?
All emojis. I cringe myself when writing stuff, but I feel emojis are so good. I can't not do it. I do think they're just such an amazing addition they change. It's that whole thing that an email can be taken or a text can be taken out of context.
Yeah.
And I know then you can use it in a passive aggressive way and write horrible things and put a smiley face next to it. But I don't do that. But just, I think it like conveys the way you actually feel with like smiley faces or sort of laughing and hearts and, the sort of, I use
love
everything.
it.
There's llama emojis. There's
Yes.
those diving masks emojis during the day, swimming things. So good. It brings language to life, written language to life.
But what's your most used?
Just the happy face. It's really
the
boring,
happy
isn't
face.
it?
Is that what you said? That's back to the acid house days.
Yeah, the smiley face. It's in my roots.
But isn't it weird? Like emojis just can change through generations. Certain things mean different things to different kids, really.
Aubergines,
peaches,
yeah, absolutely.
And the eyes emoji, which I've been using on Creative Beam for the last 16 years. Well, maybe not the last 16 years, maybe the last decade. Yeah, apparently that means naked.
Does it? I didn't know that.
And apparently if you use it on Grindr, it means something else.
I'm going to need to look that up afterwards.
Yeah, I found that out just recently. I was like, oh, interesting. Okay, so for all this time I've been requesting that. Oh, okay.
I'm assuming Creative Boom's not on Grindr, so I think you should be okay.
Oh, I love it. They are cheeky though. They can get away with murder if somebody leaves a kind of, disgruntled comment, something that's a bit fed up. I just reply with the eyes emoji. Doesn't need to say anything else.
That's it. Just read into it what you want.
Absolutely. It's wonderful. Now, speaking of reading into things what you want, this is a crazily difficult question to answer, but it's a brilliant one. What is one question you may not want the answer to, but you should ask anyway?
Yeah, I know. I read that and was like, yeah, thanks, Brian. That's a good question. Cheers. God, you know what? I haven't got a specific answer to it. There isn't one question. However, I made a conscious decision quite a while ago. I can't remember how long ago, 7 or 8 years ago, to be as super direct as I could be and to ask the difficult questions. So I think now I just ask the difficult questions. So I think I'd used to avoid, asking clients like, how happy you are with the results? Where are we going? Where could we improve? What could we get better at? What could we do about this? Tell me in detail, like, how do you feel about the relationship? All that kind of stuff. How effective is what we're doing? Like, we ask our clients every 6 months, like, how likely do you think we are to have an impact on your business? And all that kind of stuff. Now I just run towards it because I've realised that we do reviews with people at Red Setter, and I'd come out of it thinking, I think they got the message there if there was like a problem or something. And they'd come out of it going, oh my God, that was amazing. I'm doing really, really well. Because I just wasn't being direct in what I was saying and and it's not fair on people because I was just trying to hold back and try and, in my mind, be nice. But it's not actually being nice. You're being a little bit sort of almost dishonest with people because you're trying to put a nice spin on everything. Yeah. So I kind of tried to take away all the nice spins. Hopefully I'm still nice, good to hang out with, not a total arse. Take away all the nice spins and be like super direct. So I think just the idea of ask the difficult question. I think if you don't want the answer to something, then that's exactly where you should be going.
You and Brian have a lot in common. That's definitely the sentiment he was talking about last time.
Okay, that's good.
Now, have you got a question for the next guest?
I was going to say, it's nowhere near as cryptic as Brian's, but just what excites you about where design could be going? In, say, 5 years' time, what excites you about the design industry? And it's impossible to predict, but yeah, what cool stuff's coming up?
That is brilliant. I don't know who our next guest is yet, but I will put that to them next time. And brilliant. On that note, this leaves me to say, Claire, it has been a pleasure, as always. Thank you so much for coming on the Creative Beam podcast.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I've absolutely loved it.
That's it for today's conversation with Claire Blyth. If there's one big takeaway for me, it's this. No matter how fast technology moves, PR still comes back to people. Building trust, making connections, and telling stories that actually matter. Human is the future. If you enjoyed this episode, please do me a favour, leave a review, share it with a friend, and help us spread the word. It makes such a difference in helping more creatives discover the show.